Wonder
Upper
Twin
Rayon.
Zoom power thing.
Wonder Zoom powers activate. YouTube Zoom powers activate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stop now.
Shape of a video conference call.
I can't even think how to. I was like, how do I copy a link again?
No, Muffin.
Oh, boy.
Struggling.
Well, you know, because like when you sleep, it's not actually good rest either.
No.
No.
Lindsay, is it just me or did your
that.
hair get long like overnight?
I think I just haven't really had it down for a while, but I just washed it yesterday, so I'm kind of giving the curls a break.
Mm.
But it's like,
Yeah, when you braid your hair, it like goes like
it's short.
up here.
Yeah, it's here.
Boy. All right. We are all set. So ready? That's more for me. Lion face, lemon face. Hello and welcome to issue 573 of Geek in the City Radio. I am one of your hosts, Aaron Duran.
I am one of your other hosts, Beanarita.
And I'm your other host, Cable Hashitani.
And we've got Greg and Lindsay back because it's for another installment of Building Character.
Hey,
Hi.
great to be on.
How's everybody doing?
Better than it was a week ago.
This is true.
And yet,
I hope we all are.
I feel like
Tentatively
my
optimistic.
body is starting to kind of go, hey, remember all that stuff we were storing later? Yeah, it hurts now. Deal with that.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, like after an intense workout or something, or my muscles are.
I've seen a lot of that. And what I told everyone is like, that's what it feels like when your entire body unclenches after 4 years of just, ugh. Yeah.
And still so far to go, but at least we're out of the mud part.
Oh yeah. No, it's a start.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you've stopped unclenching your jaw. Now I can be sore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
that was the first time I ever checked, and I haven't been clenching my jaw. Seriously, it's a thing I've been doing for years now.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's awesome.
Wow, check that out.
Good job.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, one of your co-hosts is going to be very slow tonight.
Just one, huh?
Well,
good thing,
yeah.
Good thing we've got guests.
Good thing.
Yeah. So obviously, Greg and Lindsay are here, which means we're going to be doing another installment of Building Character.
Yup.
All right.
Who are we talking tonight?
We're talking about monks tonight.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Got
One of
my
the hardest.
D&D Beyond app ready to go.
Yeah.
That's always one of the character classes I never recommend someone play as their first character.
It can be tough.
Yeah,
there's
a couple reasons why a monk would be a tricky starting character. I can see why you'd suggest a different class. But they're a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Feet wet. Definitely look into a monk at some point in your D&D career because they're kooky dukes. It's great.
Ridiculous.
I play them a lot.
Never played a monk, but I mentioned it's one of the reasons it's so great is because they have both physical, like prominent physical attributes, and they are magic wielders. Is that correct?
Yeah, they don't lean on magic very much though. So you can play a monk and never cast a spell at the same time.
Yeah.
Although eventually your fists become magic weapons. Pew, pew, pew. We'll talk more about that in a minute though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Depending on what subclass you choose, you can dip into more magical or less. But they as a DM, it's heckin' annoying when you have a monk in your in the party. It's great, but oh boy, They can throw wrenches in your plans like nobody's business.
Yes.
I feel that like that was a silent acknowledgement that Lindsay plays a monk. The whole
Yeah, she has.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes.
So that, and then we're going to talk some Star Trek Discovery and The Mandalorian.
We gotta think. We gotta name. We gotta put a name down for that.
We did Star Talking.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
That's what we're calling it.
Star Talk.
Agreed to that?
Yeah.
I guess. Okay.
it's
I mean, I'm not saying I have anything better. Like the closest I've come is like Mando Disco Mando. None of it's good. So I'm not actually judging you.
I mean,
well, that'll be a first.
yeah, I was like, come on. I'm trying to imagine a time when your part of you's not judging me.
I don't have to have a better option for you to acknowledge that I don't like yours.
What are you, like the GOP healthcare plan? Yeah.
Anyway.
Back, baby.
Anyway, start talking.
Across the universe.
Start talking. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to psych myself up for it.
Aaron
That's
keeps referencing a song called Star Trekking
Yes.
Across the Universe, which got played on Dr. Demento a lot when we
Yeah.
were kids.
It's a-
That's where this is coming from.
Right.
Cool.
And
Context
also,
is good for your jokes.
nah, because it still makes me laugh. And really, that's the only time
That's
I
all.
told you.
That's all
Sure.
he is ever after.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's it.
Sometimes the jokes aren't for the audience. Sometimes they're just for Aaron.
Yeah. That's right.
That's okay.
Yep. Sometimes things can be just for me. They also used to play with Trek in the Park also, right? They played in the background.
Yeah,
Like
every
if the
so
crowd
often.
was, and the crowd would gather and stuff.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
we've got someone in the chat who says that they are a dragonborn monk in their game and that's their first character.
Oh, cool.
Nice. Wow. That's
Yeah.
Ambitious.
Ballsy.
What level?
Yeah, what level? Geek X1. It's not someone I'm familiar with, so welcome to the chat, new person.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what they say
Cool.
for level.
And see how long they hang out. Like, this show is awful.
Aww. Well,
That
maybe
guy Greg's
quick, make
voice
with the
is
content.
annoying.
Let's roll right into it then. That was an unintentional one. Oh, that's right. We can't do the theme music anymore. 'cause
Oh, okay. Well, then
Yeah.
we'll just go.
And we'll
Yeah,
just
we're just gonna
We'll
go.
put it in post.
Yeah.
imagine.
Insert Hobbit metal here.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, let's get right into it then. Monks! These mystic martial artists make their mark away from their monasteries' mindful meditations by mastering their body and mind, mostly by mashing monsters into mincemeat using their magical metacarpus. Monks don't merely use their muscles, my friends. They manipulate their inner energy, mainly mentioned by its moniker Ki, to magnify the mayhem they met out upon malcontents in melee. So let's flow like water as we dive into the monk class.
How long do you work on those? I feel like you.
So it's like 10 minutes.
But they,
That makes me
better.
mad.
Right? Okay,
I
fine.
mean, yeah.
Some people are just bards in real life. That's all there is to it.
That's true.
Okay, so monks are melee combatants, augmenting their abilities with special pool of power called key points, which Greg mentioned in his masterful opening. So the level 1 breakdown for a monk, they use a D8 hit die, puts them in the same category as rogues and bards. They have no armor proficiency. You need to just be fast. You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball, maybe dodge a bullet. Let's see.
There's bullets in D&D now?
Yes. Yes, there is. I decided.
Okay.
The world's okayest DM, and I've decided.
Nobody makes them bleed their own blood.
Let's see. The only weapon proficiencies they have are short swords and simple weapons. Be a little bit more on that, deeper in the nitty gritty there. Saving throw proficiency is going to be strength and dex, so reflecting the training that your body's undergone. And you will also get a proficiency with one type of artisan tool or musical instrument. And that's kind of reflecting on that you've also trained your mind.
Scholarly pursuits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So looking at this, we can glean a few things about how your ability scores should fall. Dexterity should be a priority for you when you're building your character, because the higher your dexterity, the better your armor class. So the harder you are to hit. It will also help if you use a short sword or daggers in combat. Both have the finesse property, which would allow you to add your dex bonus instead of your strength. Wisdom should be another important stat for you because your ki is empowered by it. The rest can fall wherever you see fit, but think about how your training has influenced the shape of your character. So how much value do they place in physical strength versus inner fortitude versus mental acuity or social grace? But now, on to the abilities. At level 1, monks receive a boost to their AC in the form of unarmored defense. While the monk goes without armor, their AC is 10 plus their dexterity modifier plus their wisdom modifier. So, like, who needs armor when your opponent's technique is so poor? You know where they'll strike before they do. Also, at first level, monks gain martial arts, which is kind of a catch-all, just martial arts. Make it whatever martial art you want it to be. That's up to you to flavor, but it allows them to use their unarmed strikes with brutal efficiency. The ability grants the following properties. You can use your dexterity instead of strength when making unarmed strikes and attacks using monk weapons. You can roll a d4 in place of the normal damage of an unarmed strike, which is just 1 point of damage, or with your monk weapon. This die increases to a d6 at 5th level, then a d8 at 11th level, and a d10 at 17th level. So your fists get really like just as powerful as a longsword.
Wow.
It's worth remembering that this also affects monk weapons. So while a fighter might toss aside a +1 magic dagger for a shinier sword, that same dagger in a monk's hands is going to become stronger and stronger. And if you attack with an unarmed strike or a monk weapon, you may make another attack as a bonus action. So at first level, monks get to attack twice. They can make their attack, and then they get a bonus action to make another attack, which is pretty cool.
And then at level 2, you gain access to your key points, which can help you attack even more. So these points will are determined by your monk level. So you start out with a few and you gain them as you go. It can be used in a variety of ways that vary depending on what your subclass is. But every monk, regardless of the subclass they choose, can use the key to perform the actions Flurry of Blows, Patient Defense, and Step of the Wind. What was that?
Step of the Wind.
Step of the Wind. Okay, I thought that was a question. So when you use a key point to perform one of those special actions, it's spent, but you can regain it after you take a short or long rest, 30 minutes of which must be spent in meditation. So Flurry of Blows, after taking an attack action, you can spend a key point to make 2 more unarmed attack bonus. So more bonus actions, more hits. Patient Defense, you spend a key point to take the dodge action as a bonus action on your turn, giving disadvantage to any attacks against you by creatures you can see, and giving you advantage on dexterity saving throws. So you can scooch out the way. And then Step of the Wind, you spend that key point to disengage or dash as a bonus action on your turn. And your jump distance is doubled for that turn as well. So you just become this like hard to hit little flea, just bouncing around everywhere. Also,
that was the nickname Lindsay's character got because she played a gnome monk. So the flea is. So
she was like Yoda at the end of Attack of the Clones.
Basically, yes.
I was like, yeah, these most of these are like really adding to your nimbleness.
It's all about speed and movement. You may not be like the toughest taking the hit, but you are going to avoid having to take most of the hits anyway.
Right. Get in, attack, get out.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like another thing with the second level, you gain unarmored movement. So if you're not wearing armor or a shield, your speed increases by 10 feet. And then this bonus increases as you go up in monk levels. Eventually, you get a total of 30 extra feet of movement. You just have that. You're crazy pants fast.
Yeah, you can just run circles around all sorts of people. So at third level, you get quite a few abilities. The third level for the monk is the big one because all monks get to choose a subclass at this level, which we'll touch upon in just a minute. But you also get the abilities Deflect Missiles, and Deflect Missiles is one of my favorites. It's a lot of fun. When you're hit with a ranged weapon attack, like an arrow or a javelin, you can use your reaction to reduce the damage by rolling a d10 plus your dex modifier plus your monk level. If the total you roll reduces the damage amount to 0, so if you roll equal to or greater than the amount of damage you took from that attack, you catch the object. And if you spend a key point, you can throw it back as part of the reaction. And you don't just have to throw it back at the person who fired at you, although a lot of times you will, because
because that's cool.
Because that's
cool. Like, yeah,
I want that. I definitely want that.
But you
use it constantly.
But the ability lets you throw it at any viable opponent. So you can really be like catching something and throwing it over there, and not just at a reaction at the person who threw it at you.
So Jack Burton's signature move.
Exactly.
Basically.
All in the reflexes.
It's all in the reflexes.
So relevant to the current ability we're talking about, as our listener in the chat, his name is Garrett. He is a high level 10. And he also shared that they're currently at 50 feet of movement, but also they've got Boots of Speed to double that. And I guess it must be pretty egregious because their DM has limited them to 200 feet of movement per turn.
So his DM is dealing with a speedster.
Yeah.
Cable, I was just about to say, like, oh my God, it's like being a GM with a fucking speedster.
Yeah.
Worst.
You're gonna have to start upping your food stores and keeping track of that stuff.
God,
That's
the
right.
worst.
Your rations.
Wear a special suit so it doesn't burn off.
Oh man, I'm actually having just GM tweaks by thinking of a speedster.
Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah, I had a trick, but
So I don't usually go into a class's core abilities beyond third level in these sessions here. When we're talking about this, I usually jump right to subclasses. But the monk does have something that they get at 5th level that is for all monks get this, and it's a pretty amazing ability. So I wanted to mention it here. It's super beefy. It's called Stunning Strike.
It's a good name.
And the Stunning Strike can inflict the stun condition upon an opponent. This can be super crippling in a fight, as the stun condition renders a target unable to take actions, reactions, move, or speak more than falteringly. They automatically fail strength and dexterity checks, and all attack rolls against them have advantage. So that's a super powerful tool in your arsenal, and it happens at a relatively low level. So I wanted to point that out, that all monks get that. So yeah, it is, because like if you use it against a spellcaster and now they can't speak, if they have any spells that require verbal components, you could make the argument that they can't cast those spells anymore. On top of just making them get rid of their action and reaction or movement, like that character, until they make their save and break the stun, they are stuck.
It's a really good way to pin down an opponent.
Yeah,
Also,
I think it's one of the reasons why there are legendary actions in the game for monsters. certain monsters get legendary actions, which are like, if you would fail a saving throw, you succeed instead, and it's just like, oh, I made it. So I think those are there so that you can't be like, here's the big beefy boss, and oh, he's just like,
just so it's not over too quickly.
Yeah.
Right.
Use
But,
that discretion.
Yeah, exactly. But let's get into the options for subclasses presented in the player's handbook.
Yeah. The first one is Way of the Open Hand. This path is ideal if you want to play as like your classic martial arts master. It has the most options to inflict a variety of conditions on your foes. So as a level 3 monk on this path, you gain the open hand technique. Whenever you hit a creature with an attack granted by flurry of blows, or we spoke about that moments ago, you can add one of the following effects. You can knock that target prone on a failed dex check. You can push the target up to 15 feet away on a failed strength check, or you can prevent it from taking a reaction until the end of your next turn.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it pays to have an idea about your target when you choose which option to use. Like, that ogre is probably going to have a harder time against a dex check than a strength check. So like maybe go that route. And then the third option is really good if you're up against a single target that can make multiple opportunity attacks, or if you have an ally that needs to get out of danger, but could do a lot of damage if they were able to attack on their turn, like a sorcerer or a wizard, you can kind of help lay down some cover for them to scooch out.
Right.
At 6th level, you can heal yourself. You get to regain hit points equal to 3 times your monk level, which is badass. You can only do this once per long rest, so you have to use it wisely, though. And let's see. 11th level grants you tranquility. When you end a long rest, you gain the benefit of the cleric spell Sanctuary, and that lasts to the start of your next long rest or whenever you deem it necessary to end. There is a saving throw DC, which is equal to 8, plus the wisdom modifier, plus the proficiency bonus. And that spell makes your enemies make a wisdom saving throw or target another creature. And then as soon as you attack or deal damage to that creature, that spell ends. And then at 17th level, you gain the Quivering Palm ability, which costs 3 key points and sends imperceptible vibrations through the creature. This effect lasts for a number of days equal to your monk level. Days. At any time, you can use this action to end the vibrations, so long as you and the target are in the same plane of existence. So, you have some options there. When you use this action, the creature makes a Constitution saving throw. If it fails, it is reduced to 0 hit points. If it succeeds, it takes 10 d10 necrotic damage.
Damn.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, you can have only 1 creature under this effect at a time, and you can also choose to end this effect harmlessly for no action. So you can, my first thought, just because I'm not a very nice lady, is immediately like, you can use this to blackmail somebody to do something that you want them to. Like, go do this thing, or in 3 days, you just drop dead. Meaner.
I'm curious because it says use up to, it takes 3 key points to do this.
Mm-hmm.
How many, roughly, like on average, key points does a monk have by the time they reach 17th level?
Oh boy.
Here.
Let me pull that up. Yeah, they have quite a few.
I have yet to get a monk up that high because the coronavirus keeps me from being able to play that character.
You have at 17th level 17 key points.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's your like 5-point exploding heart technique right there.
That's pretty savage.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Moving on, we've got the next option in the player's handbook is called the Way of Shadows. If you're looking for a stealthy ninja-like monk, this is your subclass. At 3rd level, the Shadow Monk learns Shadow Arts, a form of key manipulation that mimics certain spells. You know how to cast the spells Darkness, Dark Vision, Pass Without Trace, or Silence by spending 2 key points. And in addition, you learn the Minor Illusion cantrip. So that's 3rd level. You get a bevy of spells that cost 2 key points apiece. Now, at level 3, I believe you only have 3 key points available. So, like, when you start out, that's like, you know, a big part of a big chunk of your resource. But as you level up, it becomes easier and easier, and you can do it more and more times. Right. So at 6th level, you get Shadow Step, a teleportation ability that only works in dim light or darkness. While in areas of these illuminations, as a bonus action, you can teleport up to 60 feet to another area of dim light or darkness. You also get advantage on the first melee attack you make before the end of your turn. So stay in darkness or create your shadows using the darkness spell. And there's the cool thing about that one is there's no like you can only use it X amount of times. You just have this ability. If there are shadows, you can teleport through them. Bamfing.
Damn, I gotta rethink. I've never played a monk. Now I kind of think I have to.
That's a lot of really cool stuff happening here.
Right?
Yeah.
At 11th level, you get Cloak of Shadows, which grants you an action to become invisible while you're in dim light or darkness. The invisibility remains until you make an attack, cast a spell, or enter an area of bright light. And then the capstone of this subclass is gained at 17th level. It's called Opportunist. Whenever a creature within 5 feet of you is hit by another creature's attacks, you can use your reaction to make a melee attack against the creature.
I'm a big fan of that one.
Yeah, so it's not like a big, huge amount of damage like the way of the open hand monk, but this is like a lot of just like death by 1,000 cuts sort of thing. Like you can make a melee attack every round against another creature so long as someone else hits them and they're 5 feet from you.
Just imagining fists and feet just coming at you out of the shadows.
Yeah.
I'm just familiar with that one as a rogue. And I mean, depending on what other traits you've got going on, by the time you're at 17th level, one additional melee attack can like really like cinch up the fight.
Yeah. There's a lot of builds out there that actually dip into rogue. So you're a few, you are mainly a monk, but you dip a few levels into rogue to get some of the roguish abilities.
Yeah, well, particularly with this way of the shadow, it's very roguish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely the rogue monk.
Yeah.
So the last subclass in the player's handbook for the monk is the Way of the Four Elements. And this is considered a partial caster class because you use spells a little more, but it isn't as complicated as wizard or cleric. Because this subclass has options for like all the elements at each discipline level, I'm going to keep things really brief and basic on it. If you want to be a bender and like from the Avatar series, if that's what you want to base your character off of, this is the one to consider. So as a level 3 monk, you choose the subclass and gain the feature Disciple of the Elements to start you on your path. You gain access to certain spells called disciplines that rely on your key to cast. Each discipline has a key score attributed to it in addition to the monk level requirements. I suggest keeping little beads or tokens on hand to keep track in the moment. Otherwise, you kind of go, wait, what's this little notch for? And it's a whole.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I have little, like those little craft bead things, the
little flat bottom guys.
Yeah. And it's fun because you have more shiny click clacks. But so yeah,
It's kind of what D&D seems to be all about.
Little click clacks.
Little tiny click clacks.
Oh,
the
all
math
our
rocks and the shiny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's good to have some little tokens on hand to keep track of your key stuff, and I think that's great for any subclass of monk that you do. You'll probably want to keep track of those. So with this one, you start with the discipline elemental attunement, which functions pretty similar to prestidigitation, which no matter what I'm doing, the moment I say I feel like I'm drunk, prestidigitation, it's just one of those words I just trip over.
Like judicial
system.
God damn it.
It's not a word
rural.
Thanks for sending my brain immediately down a Dana Carvey rabbit hole like that.
You're welcome. Well,
anyway, so it's pretty similar to prestidigitation. And then you can also choose a second one from that list that suits whatever flavor you're going for a little more. At 5th level, you can cast your chosen disciplines at higher levels using more key. And then you get to learn additional disciplines at levels 6, 11, and 17. And then unlike your average bender, if you're going that route, you can mix and match your elements however you see fit for your character. So there's a lot of really good customization options in there. Just wanted to highlight 3 of the options that are available just at 3rd level of the like special cool skills. Fangs of the Fire Snake. When you use the attack action on your turn, you can spend 1 key point to cause tendrils of flames to stretch out from your fists and feet. Your reach with your unarmed strike increases by 10 feet for that action because of the flames, as well as the rest of your turn. You hit with let's see, a hit with that attack has fire damage instead of bludgeoning. And if you spend an additional key point when that attack hits, it can also deal an extra 1d10 fire damage on top of that. Flamey, flamey, pew, pew, pew. Next one, right? These do not fuck around. Monk's really badass. Fist of Unbroken Air, which is not a fart joke. You can create a blast of compressed air that strikes like a mighty fist. So as an action, you spend 2 key points and choose a creature within 30 feet of you. That creature must make a strength saving throw. On that fail save, the creature takes 3d10 bludgeoning damage plus an extra 1d10 bludgeoning damage for each additional key point you spend. So later on, you can really just pile it on when you have key points just coming out of your ears. You can just, and that also, you can push the creature up to 20 feet away from you and knock it prone. So you can just basically throw people around like a rag doll. If they save on that, the creature still takes half as much damage and you don't push it or knock it prone, but it still takes half damage. And then the last one I wanted to highlight was Water Whip. You can spend 2 key points as an action to create a whip of water that shoves and pulls a creature to unbalance it. So a creature that you can see within 30 feet must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 3d10 bludgeon damage plus an extra d10 bludgeoning damage for each additional key point you spend, again. And you can either knock it prone or pull it up to 25 feet closer to you.
Nice.
Yeah. If it successfully saves, again, the creature takes half damage and you don't get to pull it or knock it. Still takes like half that damage. These guys are monsters. Now there are a lot more choices, and I mean even within just the 3rd level ones, and honestly I could probably fill an entire building character like segment on just the elemental monks nitty-gritty stuff, but we've got so many more. Well, we've got several more subclasses to look at, so I'm going to just call it the little sampler. They're badass.
Yeah. All right.
I have a question. So I've been following along on D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There are other ways for the monk that are unofficial. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
There are some unofficial content like the Cobalt Soul, which is a really cool one that Matthew Mercer of Critical Role made.
I was going to ask if that was Critical Role because it's designated with the symbol that I associate with.
Yep, it is.
And then the others are still in playtest.
Yeah, although in like a couple weeks, they're going to be official. Because there's a new book coming out that that has some of those. I don't know if all of them are.
Is that Tasha's or something else? A different book?
Yeah, Tasha's.
Yep. Okay.
Tasha's Cauldron.
Mm-hmm.
Man, have we just as a sidebar? So many people have pre-ordered that damn book. Like so many people.
Yeah,
I think we've got like 50 pre-orders or more.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, we did too. Yeah, because I mean, there's something like 22 subclasses that are being featured, and a whole slew of spells and cool stuff for DMs. So like,
this has been
a commodity.
It's been one of the books that we've seen the most activity around in a couple of years.
Yeah, probably.
I think the last time people were this excited was Xanathars.
Yeah. Xanathars.
Yeah, it's a lot of really good and new content. So it's.
Speaking of Xanathars, let's move on to the options for the Monk in Xanathar's Guide. There are 3, and let's get into them. Here we go. First one is the Drunken Master. This style teaches its students to move about the battlefield in unpredictable patterns, mirroring the movements of the inebriated. These fighters frustrate their opponents with their antics while sowing confusion amidst the enemy. Your beginning features grant you proficiency with the performance skill, and also brewer supplies if you don't already have them. You also learn the Drunken Technique. Much like the Open Hand Technique, this feature augments the base monk Flurry of Blows ability. So whenever you use Flurry of Blows using the Drunken Technique, you gain the benefit of the disengage action, and your walking speed increases by 10 feet until the end of the current turn. So just a reminder, disengage. When you disengage, usually that takes up your whole action, but it prevents any enemies from making opportunity attacks against you. With this new ability, you can still make all of your attacks at the benefit of not getting an opportunity attack taken against you if you leave someone's sphere of influence.
Master, you're going to be doing a lot of just wobbling around the field and pinging around to different enemies.
Yeah.
So that's really useful to be able to not, draw an opportunity attack every time you move.
Yeah.
Nice.
So at 6th level, you gain Tipsy Sway, which is my burlesque name.
We all know that your burlesque name is Egon Dangler, though.
That's very true. It is.
Wow.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But Tipsy Sway. That's what I come out to. It grants you the leap to your feet and redirect attack benefits. Leap to your feet allows you to only use 5 feet of movement to stand if you're prone, rather than using half of your speed. Redirect attack lets you spend a key point as a reaction when you're missed by a melee attack to cause the attack to hit one creature of your choice other than the attacker that you can see within 5 feet of you. So that's basically you slapping someone on the shoulder as they lunge with a punch to make them hit one of the other dudes across from you. That's the Jackie Chan Drunken Master fighting, like making your enemies hit each other instead of hitting you. Being prone is pretty detrimental in battle. All melee attacks against you get advantage, and melee attacks you make while you're prone have disadvantage. And it's difficult to someone to get away from enemies since standing up costs half your movement. So it's really bad. If you're prone and enemies swarm you, they all have they all get, advantage on their attacks against you, and it's harder for you to get away because you've used half of your movement just to stand up. So for the Drunken Master, only using 5 feet of your movement means that you're back on your feet super fast, and you might even want to fall down as part of your action, like make a performance check to make them think that you've just passed out, to draw enemies to you so that you can then redirect the attack so they hit each other. And you hop up on your next turn and pummel them and stagger away without getting those opportunity attacks against you.
Without spilling your drink.
Oh, without spilling your drink. That's right. Holding it there. At 11th level, you get Drunkard's Luck, which lets you spend 2 key points when you make a attack roll, a saving throw, or an ability check with disadvantage. You spend the 2 key points and you cancel out the disadvantage condition on that roll. So
do you have to call it before you roll, or can you do it after?
It doesn't specify. So I would say that's
after, unless the DM complains.
That's right. Yeah, I would, for me, since it's called Drunkard's Luck, I'd be like, all right, well, let's see what happens. I roll poorly with disadvantage. Well, you know what? I'm going to spend 2 key points and take away that, and either re-roll it without disadvantage or just be like, I'm just going to take away that lower roll. That's really up to your DM how they'd allow it. I would probably say you don't get to keep the higher roll. You just have to re-roll without disadvantage. And then the capstone ability is called Intoxicated Fury, which allows you to make an overwhelming number of attacks against a group of enemies. When you use your flurry of blows, you can make up to 3 additional attacks for a total of 5 flurry of blow attacks, provided that each flurry is targeted at a different creature. So that's a lot of faces getting punched. But yeah, the drunken master style is really great for when you're coming up against a whole bunch of enemies. They're not the best not the best subclass if you're like, I want to go toe to toe with one person. This is a subclass that's like, I want to wade in there, I want to punch all the goblins, and then canter about the battlefield and just piss everybody off. The next subclass offered in Xanathar's Guide is called the Kensai. And these monks form a bond with a particular weapon and train with it so much it becomes an extension of them. When you take this subclass, you gain these benefits from Path of the Kensai. Kensai weapons. You choose 2 types of weapons, 1 melee and 1 ranged. Each can be any simple or martial weapon, provided they don't have the heavy or special properties. So you can't have like a great sword or a great axe or a maul be your preferred weapon. But the longbow is also a valid choice. You gain proficiency with these weapons if you don't already have it, and these weapons are considered monk weapons for you, so their damage die will increase. As you gain levels, you can choose other weapons to become Kensai weapons for you. And you also get Agile Parry. When you make an unarmed strike as part of an attack action on your turn, and you're holding your Kensai weapon, you can use it to defend yourself if it's a melee weapon. So if you have your longsword or your spear, you gain a +2 bonus to your AC until the start of your next turn while the weapon's in your hand and you're not incapacitated. So that just shows like how it's just an extension of your body. You're able to dodge and use your weapon to parry like with preternatural abilities. Then you also get Kensai's Shot. You can use a bonus action on your turn to make your ranged attacks with a Kensei weapon more deadly. When you do so, any target hit with a ranged attack using a Kensei weapon takes an extra 1d4 damage of that weapon's type. And then finally, the Way of the Brush is the last ability you get. And that's, you get proficiency with either calligrapher supplies or painter supplies. A Kensei uses these tools with just as much beauty and precision as they do with other weapons, or as they do with their weapons.
Nice.
So that's all at 3rd level. That's a big package for the monks at 3rd level. At 6th level, you get the ability One with the Blade, which grants attacks using your Kensei weapon, which makes your weapon attacks with your Kensei weapon magical. And you also get Deft Strike. When you hit a target with a Kensei weapon, you may spend a key point and cause the weapon to deal extra damage to the target equal to your martial arts die. And you can use this feature only once on each of your turns. So if you were to do like a flurry of blows with it, you couldn't just drop a bunch of key points and do, double damage every round, every single attack. It's just once in a turn. Then at 11th level, you gain the ability to augment your weapons further with your ki. As a bonus action, Sharpen the Blade lets you expend up to 3 key points to grant one Kensei weapon you touch a bonus to attack and damage rolls when you attack with it. The bonus equals the number of key points you use, so that you spent. So the bonus lasts for 1 minute or until you use the feature again. And this ability doesn't affect magic weapons that already have bonuses to their attack and damage. But basically, you just, through the strength of your ki, you can make your sword or warhammer or whatever weapon you've chosen to become a +3 weapon, or +1 if you so choose. And then finally, the Kensei gets Unerring Accuracy at 17th level. This ability allows you to re-roll a miss with an attack roll using your monk weapon on your turn. You can use this feature once on each of your turns. So free re-roll to make a potential miss a hit.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I know that a samurai is a subclass for fighter in Xanathars, but the Way of the Kensei sounds more like an analog for following the code of the Bushido.
I'd agree. Yeah. The samurai, they talk about the samurai in Xanathar's Guide also, and how it's like more about, less about the weapon focus and more about how like you're kind of unrelenting in battle, I believe. It's been a little while since I looked at that one, but I feel like that was kind of the difference. But if you were a fighter samurai that dipped into Kensei, that would make for a pretty powerful character. I think that would make for some good synergy.
That would be pretty
between
much
the two classes.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the difference between your standard Yojimbo and Musashi. Like a Yojimbo would be a samurai or any standard Ronin, whereas Musashi is clearly it's traveling the path of always studying and always, it's a spiritual journey as well as a physical and martial journey.
I agree with that completely. That's definitely, I think, where the line is on that.
Yeah, no, that's a really good distinction.
Yeah,
I like that. I think that sums it up really perfectly. And we've got one more subclass for you guys coming out of Xanathar's Guide. Lindsay, you want to take it?
Yeah, I don't have a cool transition. So the final path you can take as a monk is Way of the Sun. It's Way of the Sun Soul. So they can channel their ki into searing bolts of light, and they teach that meditation can unlock the ability to unleash the indomitable light shed by the soul of every living creature.
That's deep, man.
Yeah.
Super deep. All right, so you're a monk, you reach level 3, you choose the Way of the Sun Soul, you gain a new attack option, the Radiant Sunbolt. This special attack is a ranged spell attack that you are proficient with, and its range is 30 feet. Monks don't get a ton of range attacks, so this is pretty spanky. You use your dexterity modifier to its attack and damage rolls. And its damage is radiant, and the dice begin at D4, but increase as you gain monk levels. So it gets even spicier. When you use the special attack, you can spend an additional 1 ki point to basically do it again as a bonus action. So you can go pow pow. Then level 6 gives you the Searing Arc Strike. So channeling your ki into waves of searing energy. Immediately after taking the attack action on your turn, you can spend 2 ki points to cast the Burning Hands spell as a bonus action. So you can spend additional ki points on top of that to cast Burning Hands as an even higher level spell. So again, you can make it real spicy. Each additional ki point that you spend increases the spell's level by 1. The maximum number of ki points that you can add to it has to equal to half of your monk level. So you can't just keep going forever and ever and ever, but you still get a mighty pot of ki points after a while that you can throw at that. Let's see. Searing Sunburst becomes available at level 11 and is basically Goku's Spirit Bomb. You create an orb of light that erupts into a devastating explosion. As an action, you magically create an orb and hurl it at a point you choose within 150 feet, where it erupts into a sphere of radiant light for a brief but deadly instant. Each creature in that 20-foot radius sphere must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 2d6 radiant damage. Again, you can increase the damage of the sphere by spending more ki points. Each point you spend, to a maximum of 3, increases the damage by 2d6. And
I'm sorry. So like 3 ki, that's 6d6?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's on top of the original 2d6.
Yeah.
That does. So 2, 4.
And unlike Goku's Spirit Bomb, it won't take 8 sessions to build it up.
Oh my god.
And the last one, the final at level 17, the Sun Soul Monk gains Sun Shield, giving you a magical 30-foot aura of bright light and an additional 30 feet of dim light. If a creature hits you with a melee attack while that light shines, you can use your reaction to deal radiant damage to the creature. This damage is equal to 5 plus your wisdom modifier. You can end this magical aura or restore it as a bonus action. So you can just shoop, 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 shoop.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just a small note on that Radiant Sunbolt. When you spend that ki point, you get to do it twice as a bonus action. Just like the flurry of blows. So instead of doing 2 punches, you do 2 more additional light attacks.
Not clear.
Hadoukens.
In the chat, they're asking if it's basically your Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
I think that might even be one of the ones that we wrote down for a character.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm totally jumping the gun right now.
Oh, I always like this part. This is fun.
Yeah. So what characters could you draw from in pop culture for the monk? We've got a couple. But do you have
before we get into
move
the
on.
characters, I have a question. How is it that I've never heard of radiant damage before?
I don't know.
Is it
one
rare?
No, I mean,
I think
it
a
is-
lot of it is a lot of clerics use it, and I don't think we run around with a lot of clerics.
Yeah. They
No, that's fair. I've only
I would
been in-
say, I would say in comparison to like fire damage or poison or acid, yeah, radiant damage, there aren't as many monsters that deal it, so you wouldn't be on the receiving end of it as often.
Just
right.
honestly, for the best. It sucks.
It's more it's more of a player character realm.
Well, like Lindsay said, clerics have spells that do radiant damage. Paladins do as well.
Very.
but-
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's positive light. It's not fire damage. It's different. So there are fewer monsters that are resistant to it, or immune to it. But yeah, out of all, I think 13 different damage types, it's one of the less frequent, least used. So
Yeah.
Okay.
You saw it more in our old Pathfinder game because they use the same. They use Radiant, and Diana's cleric did Radiant all the time.
I must have not been paying attention because, or like, well, to be fair, at that point in the game, you know, we kind of got into some rhythms with like what attacks. So if it had been established, this is radiant damage early on before I really knew what was going on, or
Right.
before I was around, and then it just became routine, it would have just gone right past me what type of damage was happening. It's just like that thing that she does.
Right.
Also, I think, again, when it's not directed at you, you become a little less concerned with what it's doing to your enemy. Just shooting past you.
Yeah.
As long as we're winning.
Yeah. You know, it's one of those, well, that looks like it hurts. Not asking any questions there. Let's go.
yeah, like let me see here. The cleric cantrip called Guiding Bolt is
Good
oh
one.
no, Guiding Bolt isn't a cantrip, it's a first level spell, but it's it deals radiant damage, and it's a pretty tried and true cleric spell. So it's around, like just
Okay.
yeah, just not something that's typically directed at players unless you're fighting against a creature like a planetar or a deva, an angelic creature. And if you're doing that, you've probably pissed off a god, which
You've made some
typically-
poor choices.
yeah,
Right.
you've made some poor choices indeed. All right, but good question.
Yeah.
So
Pop culture.
so
All right, here we go.
all right, so pop culture characters that could easily be made into monks. For the Way of the Open Hand, Rock Lee from the Naruto series is totally a Way of the Open Hand monk. And basically any of the characters in Kung Fu Panda could easily be turned into a Way of the Open Hand monk for D&D.
Right.
Yeah, really, if you think of any of the classic kung fu movies, any of those characters are going to be able to fall into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We try to stay away from saying, oh, well, this real life person is obviously this character or, you know, this class, but, you know, any of the like Sonny Chiba movies or, you know, Bruce Lee movies, their characters, barring any like magical outliers, are pretty much all going to be very much the Way of the Open Hand.
Mm-hmm. We mentioned it a couple times in the rundown, but Aang, Zuko, Katara, those are all Way of the Four Element monks. Any bender could be a Way of the Four Elements monk, and it's
Including
just up
Bender?
to you. Oh my gosh!
I mean, obviously he's a metal bender
Clearly, he's a metal bender.
on so many levels.
Oh man, I would play that as like a barbarian, and maybe monk. If I wanted Bender to be a Bender monk. The Way of the Shadow monks. I was thinking, Nightcrawler because of the teleportation, and then also Psylocke because martial artist, teleporting, stealthy.
Psylocke doesn't teleport.
Oh no! Oh
No,
wait.
No.
Oh no!
Psylocke is telepathic, telekinetic,
Right.
and creates psychic knives,
Yeah.
psychic blades.
Okay. Oh man, I'm so sorry.
No.
May have misnamed somebody.
I
There-
misnamed someone. Yeah.
She's also changed a lot. I think her most recent incarnation, she's gone back to being in a white woman's body,
Oh yeah.
and
That's
is the new Captain Britain.
okay.
I
Odd.
didn't know that part.
Oh.
Yeah, it's part of House of X,
Mm.
Power
okay.
of X. So she's
Well-
currently leading Excalibur. She's apparently also might be Nimue, but I haven't been reading that one, so I'm not caught up.
Okay. Well, then not Psylocke.
Not Psylocke.
But I
She's-
thought, yeah.
I was just going to say she feels more like she's open hand
Yeah. Okay.
Might be.
with telekinetic abilities.
Yeah, it would have to be well, I hear in Tasha's we're going to be getting some psionic abilities, so
Mhm.
Some psionic.
we can save Psylocke for the actual psionic
Right.
options when they come.
Would Cloak be from Cloak and Dagger?
Cloak would work
Yeah.
because he creates his own darkness. He teleports his own darkness and has a shadow form.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
That would be a really good one.
hmm
I've got
I
one.
believe we used Cloak for the Shadow Sorcerer
I think so.
last time.
That was 600 years ago, though. I don't remember.
That's some
Yeah.
damn good memory, Greg.
Yeah, that was the 833rd of March, so it doesn't
That's
count.
right. That's right. It was. So another option for Way of Shadow that is not super like monk-ish, but I thought Venom might be a good option. He doesn't like teleport per se, but he's, especially when you have him up against Spider-Man, he's susceptible. He's moves in the dark. He jumps out of darkness. Spider-Man can't sense him, so he's basically invisible to Spider-Man. So in those terms, you could potentially create an interesting character based off of Eddie Brock and Venom as a Way of the Shadow
Right.
monk.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I found one. I wasn't gonna think of any on my own, so I was skimming through, and I found one that really caught my eye. And for Way of the Drunken Master, they're suggesting Spike from Cowboy Bebop.
Oh,
Oh.
I was like, that's pretty clever. It makes a lot of sense because you got that sort of like erratic, and like as a character, he comes off as like fairly incompetent. So
Yeah.
that's a great idea. Yeah, that's
I
really
like that
good.
one. I wish
like
I could take credit.
And then, the actual drunken master.
I mean,
Right.
Mhm.
Also, you could say that Lister from Red Dwarf is a
absolutely.
drunken master. You could
Yeah.
use Lister as a good basis for a character.
I would love to build a monastery off of like Lister's core beliefs. He's the robes have to be like a curry yellow,
Yes, of course.
hide stains.
Hide stains. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another drunken master would be Master Roshi from Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Then for Way of the Kensai, you could have the Bride from Kill Bill, as well as the tenants of Pigsty Alley. If you remember in Kung Fu Hustle, the three the three masters that were in the Pigsty Alley tenement.
Right.
They all had a special technique, and I think they all had a special weapon that they used. And then for the Sun Soul monk, we already mentioned Goku, Ken or
Cat mentioned Raiden.
Or was it Raiden? Who was it?
Oh,
That was Kung Lao.
Liu Kang.
Liu Kang. That's
Liu
what
Kang.
it was. Liu Kang. But yeah,
Although,
Liu Kang.
Kung Lao is also in the chat, as well as Iron Fist, One Punch Man, Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub.
That's Zach for you. But also Rucker Hauer from Blind Fury.
Yeah. That one.
Chiwetel Ejiofor as the operative in Serenity.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what it is about him that was monk-like, because it's not listing particular.
Well, his whole mentality of remember when he was fall on your sword because you dishonored this. He's had a very he was a martial artist.
He was a true believer.
Yes.
I really don't remember much about this character. Turns out,
really terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those actors that whenever I see him in a movie, I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna betray somebody, isn't he?
But also Kinky Boots.
Like, please, just this one time make it through the whole movie without turning out to be a terrifying human being. And
he becomes basically a good guy in the Old Guard.
That is true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Watching
but he still betrayed people.
Not him.
Yep.
But he still betrayed people just because
out
it's a positive ending.
The movie that he does not betray anybody and is not the bad guy is Love Actually.
Oh, I was gonna say Kinky Boots again.
Where he marries Keira Knightley.
That is true. That's
the one where he gets betrayed.
Yeah, that is the only movie.
He's not actually betrayed.
Oh, do they not act on their?
No.
It stays unrequited.
Yes.
She gives him a Christmas kiss and then leaves.
Yep.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then he goes off to Atlanta and fights zombies.
Okay. Who else what else is in the chat? Ron Swanson.
Ron Swanson.
I'm trying to figure out the Ron Swanson.
I don't see him as a monk. I don't see him as he has strong morals and or I guess or but he doesn't he has strong beliefs, but I don't really see him embodying those in his movements or anything like that. I would say Ron Swanson was more of a fighter or maybe a paladin.
Yeah,
a very specific kind of paladin.
Yeah.
Which is the kind of paladin that helps himself.
A paladin of
yeah.
We've also got Indiana Jones in the chat, and I have a hard time agreeing with that because if it's Harrison Ford, it's a fucking rogue.
Okay.
I mean, he's lawful. He's I'm trying to decide if he's I'm gonna say he's lawful, but he's kind of chaotic. Lawful good, I guess.
So with Indiana Jones, if we were counting the Cobalt Soul monk, I would absolutely say yes, Indiana Jones is a monk, because the monks of the Cobalt Soul are more intelligence based, and they are all about figuring out their enemies and understanding what's about them and gathering knowledge and gathering lore and stuff like that, which has a very
museums.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I could absolutely see that, but with
this is weird for me. I see Indiana Jones as a bard from the College of Lore.
A bard.
Oh, sure. Sure. Okay, I could see that. Absolutely.
While I could absolutely see making a monk character with Indiana Jones type qualities, I wouldn't say that the Indiana Jones character in and of himself would be a monk. I think Bard would be an interesting one.
Yeah. I'd say rogue. He has to sneak into stuff, bust traps. He steals the stuff when he gets there. I mean, so he's got a little bit of a heart of gold because he's like, they belong in a museum instead of trying to sell them for profit. But
it's still
pretty fucking roguish.
Indigenous cultures that they were in.
Yeah, they don't belong in a museum either. I was going to go with Ranger.
I could see that too.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think my vote would probably be Rogue. But I mean, really, you could probably take any pop culture character and use some aspect of it towards the class of your choice. Like,
oh, if you really want to, for sure.
Yeah, like I don't want these discussions to be like, oh, you can't.
Right.
Definitely. These ones are the ones that are more clear.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point, Lindsay.
Yeah. I think I agree with both Lindsay and Denise on this. It's definitely more Rogue than Ranger. Ranger seems more like what's her name? Lara Croft.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. especially the like from the newer video games and stuff where she's like making her own weapons and stuff. Yeah.
So now she's Laura Crafty.
Oh.
I'm so sorry. Sorry.
Oh.
Like the minute I said it.
Don't back down. Own it. Own it.
No, I'm ashamed.
Own the cringe.
You know what also might make for this is a bit of a stretch, but the old radio show, The Shadow. The Shadow could potentially be a way of the Shadow Monk.
Yes.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I feel like we run into the same issue of there's also some psionics going on.
That's true. Yeah.
Because he didn't actually do any of those things. He just makes you believe that that's what you're seeing.
Yeah, he clouds your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. But he does know what evil lurks in the hearts of men.
Mm-hmm.
I love that character.
Me too. All right. Well, there we have it, y'all. That is Monks.
Nice.
From Building Character. Hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Try your hand at some monks one day.
I know. It's good. Monks really do sound like a lot of fun. I don't know like how long it'll be before I can like work myself up to the idea of like that challenge level in terms of character building, but it's definitely got its appeal.
Like and just like the base monk stuff, as you level up, you start to you stop aging, poison doesn't affect you, you can understand all languages. They get some really ridiculous abilities because of their connection with their ki and the world around them. It's ridiculous.
It's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Too much good stuff.
I just need to get into a game now that I'm not running.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I know.
Don't look at me.
I know.
All right. Well, we definitely we've spent a goodly amount of time on the monks. So let's before it gets too much later, let's go ahead and dive into. Do you guys want to do Mando or Discovery first?
Do Mando since we've all seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
So this past week was Chapter 10, the Passenger.
Right.
And it's it's Din Djarin getting off of Tatooine, and he picks up a fare. This little frog lady with her container of eggs that she needs to take to meet, like, rendezvous with her mate.
Yeah.
This whole part wasn't super clear to me, but there's a very limited amount of time that they have to get to a very specific place in order for her last clutch to be fertilized and continue their line.
You can't do hyperspace or it'll kill the eggs.
Yeah, that was interesting, but okay.
That was a plot. That was we needed something weird to fuel the plot.
Right.
The
I mean,
eggs are delicate.
I'm stuck on why she took them out of her
Body?
Yes. Why?
Yeah.
Why would you not get to where you need to be before the eggs have to come out of you?
That was my thought the whole time. Like, dude, why didn't you leave sooner if you've already got them outside your body and they're like ready to go now?
Right?
Shouldn't you, like already be there.
I know I'm a mammal and we do it different than amphibians, but I just feel like and it's her last clutch, they said, which means she's done this before.
Yeah.
Better planning probably could have been a thing.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It was none of that was really the point of the episode. It was really more the impetus for the Mandalorian to try to escape some New Republic fighter pilots and then get in an accident and be stranded in a dangerous place.
Oh, fuck those ice spider things.
Oh my god, that was the worst.
Hate them.
So
They unnerved me when they were animated.
yes.
Also, they're just really freaky with that like suction cup mouth face.
I think
Yes.
that's the biggest one. So, like what Aaron's referencing is this is the second time we've seen these creatures. The first time was in Rebels, but that was a decidedly bigger one than was ever on Rebels. So that's
there
the
were
first
also
time
a
we-
lot more of them.
Oh yeah, in multiple sizes. Which we
Yeah, there was
also
like
didn't need.
babies, like juvenile or adolescents, and then mom size.
You know what? The mom size one was the least scary to me. It's
The small ones.
no,
Right,
no,
because they can overrun you. They can just coat you in spider bodies.
right.
And they can spit webs. That web spittle was,
Oh yeah, and they get it everywhere. It's disgusting.
yeah.
Yeah, none of that was okay.
No.
Yeah.
And I like spiders. None of that was okay.
You know, what was cool about that big one though is there was artwork made in oh gosh, I just read an article about it, but there was artwork done in like the 70s that didn't get used. That was of those guys, and it was one of them was that size.
Is that Macquarie's art?
Yeah,
Probably.
Yeah.
They use a lot of his art now for the Mandalorian and then for Rebels, obviously.
This is true.
Oh, for building their models and all that.
Right.
Cool.
And then it felt odd for me to always giggle when the child ate.
Yeah, let's talk about the funny genocide.
Yeah. What the hell, man?
I mean,
No, it makes sense. He is like, we've seen him eat a frog. He likes live things to eat, and
he's
he's
definitely a
baby.
meat eater.
He doesn't know that he's killing something to eat it, or maybe he doesn't. He doesn't care. Like,
mean,
however you want to look at it, that's normal baby behavior. They want what they want.
And
If that's what that species eats, like the reason Yoda ends up on that planet is
on
because
Dagobah.
Probably a lot of frog ladies there.
he's the apex predator there.
Yeah, there's a lot of the child's behavior that points to Yoda's race being an apex predator, because it's not just, oh yeah, they can eat things. It's like he's eating a lot of live things, like and he's just indiscriminately eating things, which means if he were to spit his own stomach acid, I'm pretty sure it could eat through the hull of a ship.
That's a good point. I'd never really thought about that. Yeah, he swallows live things whole.
Yes,
So
like a snake.
right, so he's breaking them down.
Yeah.
In there. Wow, that's a little bit frightening.
Yeah, I mean,
You
I
think
mean,
the
'cause
predator-
Yoda is a good dude, by by the rules with which we absorb and accept the notion of light and dark in the Star Wars universe. But that's just one dude. This is only the second example of this race that we've ever seen anywhere, right? Third?
Yeah.
Who's the other one?
Artwork.
There it is.
Yaddle from episode 1.
Yep.
The one they called the girl Yoda. She's not ever seen ever again, but she's on the council.
I don't remember that character, and I'm not going to go back to find it.
They gave her a much better backstory in some of the Dark Horse comics, but yeah.
No, that's fair. Okay. Do we know what she eats?
I don't know.
Well, we talked about this while we were watching the show. The only thing, we don't really see Yoda eat. In A New Hope, not A New Hope, the other one.
Empire.
He pulls like a protein bar out of Luke's pack, and he like tries it, and then he like spits it out and throws it away. He's like, that's junk. And I think there's a scene where he's like making a pot of presumably some sort of stew. We don't know what's in it. We don't know what's in it.
I think in the official adaptation, it was called like a root stew. Yeah.
I bet there was frog eggs in there.
Probably. One thing there probably wasn't was snake eggs, because he has a snake for a pet, so I doubt that he eats that.
Hey, we got
look.
I was gonna say, like, we
Exactly.
keep pets for their eggs.
I guess that's true. What I mean is that
one snake would
like...
not be very super fruitful though. So
that's true.
Well, maybe a Dagobah snake is like
that's true.
super fruitful.
I don't know nothing about no Dagobah snake eggs.
But really, all that it matters is that the whole damn thing led to one of the greatest cameos of all time.
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Sneak attack.
Oh, Mr. Kim, sneak attack.
Now I'm gonna forget his name again. Paul Soon-ho?
Sun Hyung Lee.
Sun Hyung Lee. There we go. That's a toughie.
It's Sun Hyung is a hyphen, so it's Paul Sun Hyung Lee.
Got it. Everyone's favorite Appa from Kim's Convenience is apparently a New Republic fighter pilot.
Yeah.
He's also a member of the 501st.
The actor.
Oh, I didn't. Oh,
Yes.
Gotcha.
He is a long-time Star Wars cosplayer. Like you
And
can
I
find.
didn't know that. Like, I know that he's a big Ghostbusters fan, but I don't remember hearing about his Star Wars fandom. So that was.
Just look up his name in Star Wars, and he's in all kinds of uniforms. He has
his own uniform.
It was not.
Okay.
Because his uniform and helmet are different than what was on screen.
Right.
But I think, like, I haven't delved a lot into this, but I have a feeling that his love of Star Wars is what got him that role. Like,
Right.
I'm sure someone's sitting around the table going, hey, you know who we should call? Paul. We should get Paul down here from Toronto, and, you know, it'd be great.
Oh yeah, here, I found a picture of his his cosplay, and it's definitely that more not Empire Strikes Back.
A New Hope.
No, the other one, the fourth
Jedi?
one, the third one, Return of the Jedi. God, where's my brain? It's that Return of the Jedi.
So I put a link in our private chat here, and I haven't seen it yet, watched it, but apparently CBC News did like an 8-minute interview with him about how he got the offer to be on The Mandalorian. So
cool.
Looking forward to watching that later tonight.
So is it just him, or him and was it his kids or his grandkids? From the Ghostbusters video,
I think that's his kids.
Okay, I mean, he's trying to talk about how awesome his fucking handmade proton pack is, and the kids are just not having it.
No, they think Dad's a huge nerd.
Yeah, they do.
That means that one day down the road we will probably see an action figure of Appa, and that's going to be awesome.
That'd be pretty fucking cool.
I'm excited.
I've already seen pictures of people getting like a generic like New Republic Funko Pop, and they're painting the gray beard on it.
You know what Funko Pop did already come out with? Is a baby Yoda going after a canister of eggs.
Did they already?
Of course
Jeez.
they have.
Yeah, it came out a month ago.
Wow.
What? Toys. I'm glad I didn't see that soon. Well, I mean, I guess it wouldn't have really, without context, it wouldn't have said
It
anything.
did, yeah.
to me, but-
It's like, oh, everyone just kind of looked at it and went, it's a Baby Yoda with a container or something. Cool.
Right.
I did appreciate how that character of the frog lady moved when they were like running away from all of those
Mhm.
spiders and started hopping like a frog, and
That was pretty great.
that was well done. That was
Also,
cool.
she has engineering skills.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Like that's one of the things about the diversity of aliens in Star Wars. They do play up a lot more, like especially for Mandalorian, they played up the fact that they are very alien species. They are not humanoid, or like her jumping like a frog and running around like a frog. It's like that's exactly what that character should do. Granted, they have more money to do things that with,
Right.
Yes.
or it can be a one-off. But I think Star Trek is just now starting to get that kind of money so they can have reoccurring aliens where it's
Right.
like, oh, they've actually done a really good job with you.
Yeah, it's expensive to have that week in, week out kind of thing.
I think it's getting less expensive when you work more and more with silicone masks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
But it's also cool, like that you see this sort of thing in Star Wars. There isn't a universal translator. Like, sorry, I don't speak frog, and like that was
Trying to her
amazing.
in Huttese.
Yeah. People just either understand each other or they don't, or they get a translator.
Right.
That's what protocol droids are for.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
And also you're not going to see a Dr. Mandibles at in Star Trek. It's just a big ant. It's just a big ass ant named Dr. Mandibles. That's
That
my
ant
favorite.
has a doctorate, damn it.
Mhm.
Respect.
In what?
What kind of doctor do we think he is?
Oh my gosh.
Or is he a doctor like Dr. Afra?
Uh,
I don't know. Yeah.
a doctorate in community planning. I don't know.
I
Or
was going to go
alienites.
with
Agriculture.
something to do with agriculture, moisture
Yeah.
farming. If you live
Yeah.
on Tatooine,
Oh, yeah. Duh.
Man,
I do
yeah.
like how his name continues the tradition of Star Wars not always being super creative. What's the
Yeah.
ant's name? Dr. Mandible.
Dr. Mandible.
What's Admiral Akbar? Mon Calamari?
Mon Calamari. Yeah.
Yeah. What's that one alien? Hammerhead. Yeah.
Yeah, God, how long was it before they started saying, no, he's an Ithorian? It's like, okay, he was Hammerhead for 20 years.
Yeah.
That was just Hammerhead.
Yeah.
No, that asshole? That's Hammerhead.
But it was a lot of fun. And that cameo is, yeah, I like squealed when I was like, wait, what?
Yep.
Like I actually paused the episode and I had to go online immediately to see like, okay, am I imagining things? Does this actor just look a lot like him? Like, oh, nope, it was him. Cool.
Yep.
I just really like the image going around with him standing in the cockpit and the thing open, going, "Team window open,
Yeah. Yeah.
team window open." It
the
made me
guy-
happy.
The guy who plays, it was pretty great. The guy who plays Kimchi,
Mm-hmm.
he totally replied to that. It's like, all right, you win this round.
Yeah, because
Also,
he's
that
also
cast-
a big
That
Star
cast
Wars fan.
loves to mess with each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty great. Also, the fun thing to think about his character in The Mandalorian, since he is a New Republic TIE fighter pilot, and he's,
X-Wing.
I'm sorry, X-Wing. Jeez, New Republic TIE fighter pilot. It's been a long everything.
It's been a long day.
That also suggests, because I'm kind of just guessing that he's a tad older, that
Mhm.
he's probably been a pilot for a long time.
Presumably.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I really enjoyed that scene with them communicating with the Mandalorian and like just being like, "We need to see that ping." I don't have that
Yeah.
installed right now, and then just like watching as the two X-wings go.
Oh my God.
Found
Yeah.
it.
S foils in locked position.
Yeah. I mean, I've enjoyed
transponder.
the second season. I know it's got the overarching story of, getting the child back to his people and, all that stuff. But this season so far has kind of felt like, I don't mean this as a dig, it has felt like Star Wars RPG adventures.
Mm-hmm.
All right, adventure 1, you're stuck on Tatooine, you're going to fight the dragon. And now it's like, yeah, they're just these fun little one-shots with, there's a path going, but, it's kind of cool. I think it's a fun way to return to that stuff.
Yeah.
And
well, it allows for the viewer to see a different part of the world, or a different aspect or element, like being able to see, oh look, the Sand People have this unique sign language that they use, and how cool is that? I really like being able to focus on some of these different aliens and see what they're about. All right, what's a crate dragon? Like, ooh, that's a crate dragon. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like the kind of episodic nature they're doing, which is almost directly opposite the storytelling that Discovery's doing this season.
Yeah.
That sucker is dense with the way it's unfolding its story.
Mm-hmm.
I think by now in season 1 and 2, we already had like one standalone episode that really wasn't part of the overall arc, and that hasn't happened here yet.
Yeah.
I feel like Bean's about to say something.
No, I was trying to like picture what you just said in terms of like remembering the episodes, and it's not going to happen. So let's just dive into Discovery episode 4, Forget Me Not. Oh man, that was a sad one.
Yeah, AKA Everyone Cries.
We should keep it as spoiler free as possible.
Oh, that's
right. Because the whole gang hasn't seen that one.
Right.
Well, I guess the brief and like subtle synopsis is, and so we all met Adira last episode, and we understand that she is carrying a symbiont. She is hosting a symbiont, but she doesn't have she can't access all of the memories. So they decide to go to Trill. I don't think I realized that the planet is the same name as the people of it. Yeah. But they go to Trill and to try to bust out those memories, because we already know that one of the symbiont's previous hosts was someone who was in Starfleet during the burn and would be able to help them find out what the hell has been going on and where Starfleet is now.
Right.
And that is the A plot line. There is also a lovely B plot line which delves into the health and well-being of the rest of the crew, which everything that you've seen in episodes 1 through 3 that you've gone, oh, they need to address that.
Right.
Yeah, they start to address that. It's the most awkward family dinner that I think I've ever seen on Star Trek since Undiscovered Country.
Yes. And there is another friend that I chat with has a thought about two characters, but if I say it here, it gives something away.
No, don't bring it up.
Yeah, we'll skip that.
The more I think about it, the more it cracks me up, and I kind of think maybe.
All right, I'm going to text you once I finish the episode, and then you tell me, okay?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely an emotional episode. It got wrapped up kind of quickly for me. It was very much like, oh, we've got 5 minutes left. Let's.
I guess I didn't see it as being wrapped up. I saw it more as a, like, this was the first step in a longer storyline of addressing all of those issues.
Sure.
Yeah, that's how I looked at it. Is like, okay, well, we kind of like crossed this threshold, but now we've opened up the door for this whole new element that will carry the story for however many episodes more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I have to rewatch it to kind of get my thoughts on it. I mean, I liked it a lot. It's just, it's gorgeously, the performances are what really sold this episode this week, for sure.
Well, I know the director is also she's one of the directors for season 1 of Picard, and she had one of the more. As soon as I saw her name, I'm like, oh, this episode's going to make me cry. Yeah. Because I remember her doing some of the better episodes of Picard.
Yeah. And then this isn't a spoiler, but this week we get Oded Fair.
Yes.
I saw that.
I had no idea
excited.
he was in the season. I was like, did they keep him a secret? Like a casting? I don't remember him being mentioned.
Yes, they I don't remember.
I don't keep track, so it would have been a surprise to me no matter what.
I watched that dude in anything.
I just realized both Discovery and Mando had Canadian television stars as their cameos.
What was the one for Discovery?
If you're a fan of Schitt's Creek, keep an eye on the Trill Homeworld.
Oh, I don't know why I couldn't remember that.
Oh, I'm excited now.
Yes.
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah, that was a good one.
I mean, I was excited anyway, but
mostly because Discovery is not a comedy by any stretch, so it's interesting to see someone from a show that is that silly in a more serious setting.
Yeah.
I had it pointed out to me the following day. I'm like, oh my God, you're right. That was. And it didn't dawn on me till now. It's like, oh, that means both shows had Canadian stars.
That I didn't think about. That's fun.
Weird. They have weird little parallels.
I'm doubly excited to see this episode now because in our Trek game, I play a Trill. So any more information about Trills in their home world is going to be very useful.
You're going to cry a lot.
You're going to cry a lot.
I'm
sorry.
I'm such a sap already.
yeah.
Jesus,
as soon as you said it, I was like, well, all right, I'm going to.
Well, that's what we're doing this Saturday. So I'll see your reaction on Saturday.
Great.
Yeah. No, it's a really touching episode. You're going to really
blanket and some tea and some tissues.
Yep.
It's the feel good kind of crying.
Well, that's good because Discovery, in my experience, has a lot of crying in it that isn't so feel good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm new to Discovery. We binge watched the first two. Lindsay's rewatching it with me, but we've gotten through the last two seasons in the last week and a half. It's got a lot of pain and there's a lot of sadness and there's a lot of hope, but it's I've shed quite a few tears at that series.
And watching through, still just sobbing like a baby at certain points.
Yeah, I think season 3 so far has been the most hopeful.
Oh yeah,
this show has been, and I think that's deliberate, and they are definitely sending a message.
It's very, very timely.
Yeah.
Just like Greg was saying, it has a lot of pain and sadness. I'm like, well, what does that sound like? But now this year, this season is all of a sudden just this. There is hope. Things are turning upward, and just like Cable said, I think all of that has been very, very intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was fun. And next week should be even more interesting. I'm super jazzed for this week.
Yeah.
Mainly because of things we get to see. Huh?
I look forward to watching it.
Yeah. Sorry, I fell down the Oded Fair rabbit hole there really quick. I have to stop.
It'll happen.
Dude, I watch that dude in anything, and the greatest cinematic crime ever is that he was never cast as Ra's al Ghul.
Yep.
I don't watch that.
Dude would have been perfect as that character.
He would have been. I saw a meme on Instagram today that was my sexual orientation is the cast of 1999's The Mummy.
I saw that one. I was like, yeah, there's no lies there.
It's got Oksana Moon, it has Imhotep, it has Oded Fair and Brendan Fraser, and you just look at it like, that's
I'm
about
pretty
right.
sure there was a long list of shared by. On, it was all of my bi, pan, etc. Not strictly het friends were yeah, agreed. What's dumb is I've never seen that movie.
That's a fun
Look
movie.
at his face.
It is.
I
It is
missed it.
so much fun.
I want to watch it. I have not done so yet.
I legit like all of them. They're not,
It-
you know.
Even Scorpion King?
The story's fine. It's that the Scorpion King looks stupid.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
But the story's
Also, they
fun.
made such a big deal out of the fact that The Rock was going to be in this movie, and technically he's in it for like 4 minutes
Yeah.
collectively.
And yes, I even like Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. I don't care what people say. I think it's fun.
Never saw that one. And then we're running out of time, but one quick thing that the whole internet is very excited about that we said we were going to talk about is how like half the cast of Discovery is playing a D&D game together.
Ah, I know. So
Very
awesome.
exciting.
So Tilly's IRL husband is the DM. Stamets plays a druid. New cast member Blue Del Barrio plays a tiefling wizard. And her on-screen partner Ian Alexander plays an elf bard.
Nice.
Sounds like a chaotic party, but also
Yeah. And apparently there's as of yet unnamed fourth character that's playing a half-elf cleric, I think it was.
Two more. So Detmer, who is named, plays the half-elf cleric, and then
Oh.
the what are we at to 4 or 5? The last unnamed cast member is playing a Goliath ranger.
Okay. It's a pretty balanced party. That's pretty
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, that's great.
And they include this particular website includes a tweet about how in one session they were fighting some orcs and an ooze, and Anthony Rapp's half elf druid turned one of them into a giant wolf spider.
Okay.
And now that makes me sad for my elf druid character from our other game.
Come all the way back around to giant spiders again.
Yeah, there it is.
Yay, we did it!
Woohoo! Well, that's a perfect sign-up spot then.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Mission complete.
Yeah, Lindsay, Greg, thank you so much again for joining us for building character.
Thanks for having
Thank you
us.
so much.
One
Thank
day
you
we'll
so
be
much
able to
for
do
having
this
us.
segment in the same room together someday.
Oh, one fine
Probably
day.
right about when like 6th edition comes out.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
oh, that hurt.
Oh,
That hurt.
Sad.
Yeah. Anyway,
hopefully sooner.
yeah. And with that, I'm Aaron Duran.
I'm Pinarita.
And I'm Cable Hashitani.
And we will talk everybody next week. Get some sleep.
Drink
Drink lots
water.
of water. Bye, everybody.